Hey guys, welcome to the KickBack FC. Thank you for joining us once again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
Welcome back to the Kickback FC, your go to spot for unfiltered, real talk, all things soccer. Here we've got it all. We'll be breaking down the biggest moments, hottest takes, and everything that you need to know to stay plugged into the world's game. And we'll even tap into some other sports from time to time because if it's big in sports, we've got some thoughts on it. Whether this is your first time with us or you've been rocking with us from the jump, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you again to all of our friends and supporters. Once again, my name's Cornelius. I'm your co-host. I'm joined by my boys and co-hosts here tonight with me as well. Want to welcome back Poppy. It's been a minute, bro. How you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. How's the weather out there in Senegal?
It's getting a little chilly, but nothing like Cleveland, though.
Yeah, we just had a whole
Yeah,
weekend of snow, buddy. I know you remember what that's like.
I actually miss it, believe it or not.
Nah, yeah. Whenever you want to come back, bro, just bring that
I
warm
will.
weather with you. Whatever, just bring that warm weather with you. G, how you feeling tonight?
Hey, not too bad, man. Can't complain. Salam.
Feel pretty good, man. It's getting cold out here in Ohio. What about you, Cornelius?
Good, man. Like we've all been talking about, it's getting a little bit chilly out here. But soccer's still going. There's a lot going on, and AFCON is upon us. We got AFCON starting in just 7 days, and that's where I want to start today, man. AFCON, the African Cup of Nations. So, for those of you who are not aware, all of the FIFA federations there are continental tournaments. So, in Africa, which we're going to talk about today, is the African Cup of Nations. Those who might, follow the Premier League or the Bundesliga or any of our European leagues may be familiar with the Euros, which happen as well between all of the European nations. There's also the Copa Sudamerica, which happens in South America. Here in the U.S., we have the Copa America with the CONMEBOL Federation. And there's also the Asian Cups as well. So all the continents tend to have a tournament usually every 3 years or 4 years, depending on the federation themselves. But AFCON tends to happen every 3 years generally. This year it will be held in Morocco for the second time. The first time they held it was 1988. So AFCON 2025 will be the 35th edition of the biennial African Cup of Nations, which is organized by the Confederation of African Football, or CAF. Again, like I said, Morocco will be hosting it this year. Um, this tournament will be running from December 21st, 2025, all the way through January 18 of 2026. So the tournament is about 1 month. And I kind of want to start there because, the tournament was pushed back a little bit this year due to teams having, later World Cup qualification matches. So, Poppy and when we talked about him being on the episode, he kind of had some topics that he wanted to talk about when it came to the AFCON. And one of them was, these players not actually leaving to go back to their home nations until a little bit later than, what we're used to seeing in AFCON. So I kind of want to start there, Poppy. Just your take on it. Do you think this is something that's gonna hinder the tournament in a general sense? Obviously, each nation is going to be equipped with the same thing, so it's not like one nation has a little bit of power over another one to bring their players back early. But in your in your opinion, what do you think? These players with a week less to train, a week less in Morocco, will do for this tournament moving forward.
I think it's there has I mean there's some disadvantages for some countries for sure because you got to keep in mind that it's not every country that has international players. Some of these countries have all local players. So some of them are actually already in Morocco, but some others have to wait for their players to come back from their clubs. And it was already bad enough that FIFA pushed the calendar for the AFCON. A lot of teams, a lot of countries complain about that, and now they also decided that the players can only leave their clubs to join their countries on December 15th, which is tomorrow. And yeah, so by that time you have like 1 week left until the start of the tournament, players gonna come home. They're gonna, go to the president of their countries to give them the flag or whatever, then prepare to go to Morocco. By the time you settle in and rest, it's kind of a complicated thing for some countries. A lot of coaches have complained about it, a lot of players have complained about it, and I feel like this always happens, with AFCON. And it's funny because you don't see it happening with other, international tournaments. But with AFCON, it's always something that's like not very cool or not perceived positively by coaches and by players. But yeah, tomorrow is the date where all the players will be allowed to leave their clubs. And I think during the week, between tomorrow and Wednesday, most, if not all, countries will be heading to Morocco. And I guess at that point, it would just have to be a matter of, which team prepares the best, which players, are more, methodic in their approach, to train or whatever. So yeah, I think that's I see it as a negative point, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, me too.
No, yeah, I was saying obviously with only having a week to one move from wherever you are in the world to Morocco, whether that be Europe, a lot of these players play all over the world. Um, I think that it'll hinder a lot of teams. Like you said, a lot of these teams don't have internet, or some do have players that play all over the world. Some are already in Morocco, so those teams that have players, training earlier might have a little bit of an advantage earlier in the tournament. But I do want to talk about the Premier League players because, Salam and I actually were talking about this a little bit earlier. We don't have any players leaving for AFCON. And, Poppy, one of the things that you said just now was, it's always an issue with AFCON, but it is an issue with AFCON. We know that because this is one of the most important times in the Premier League, in any league in Europe. We're playing 2 to 3 times a week, most of the time in December and January. And now you're taking players out in this very, very important time where they might miss 6 or 7 league games over the course of this tournament, depending on, how deep into the AFCON they go. So for a lot of these players, they're going to be missing 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 or 7 games with their club. We know how tight the Premier League is right now, between first place on the table and all the way down to 8th place on the table is really not that many points. It's really only 11 points. So with 2 to 3 games a week, sometimes you're going to see a lot of teams who don't have that depth really, really have to, pull out results, and it's going to be difficult. There's actually a list here that shows all the Premier League players that are going to be leaving for AFCON. Sunderland has the most with 6 players leaving for AFCON. Manchester United has 3 players leaving. Fulham also has 3 players leaving. Funny enough, they all are Nigerian players. Burnley has 3 players leaving for AFCON. Nottingham Forest with 2. Everton with 2. Brentford with 2. Man City with 2. Tottenham with 2. West Ham with 2. Wolves with 2. Brighton with 2. And Palace with 2 as well. So this is, over half the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 teams with players leaving for AFCON. And if you want to look at the list, there are some very, very high profile players leaving. So, this is a big deal for a lot of Premier League teams, but on the flip side, this is a big deal for a lot of these players. We just talked about, we just had a spotlight for Augie Williams, who we interviewed earlier this year. And he talked about in his interview that, representing Sierra Leone was one of the highlights of his career, And so for a lot of these players, they do want to go win this because for them, it is a prestigious tournament to go play in. And they do want, to go back home and represent their country because this is just one step. A lot of these teams aren't going to the World Cup. So for them, this might be the only time they get to have that international call up to play something like to play for, their badge on a world scale. So I do understand why these Prem players or these Prem managers don't want players to leave. But, I also do understand the flip side as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just comes with it. It's just this is when the tournament is. And like Papy said, I think this is not. I believe this is the only tournament that really gets scrutinized and really questioned when it comes to just the players leaving. You wouldn't really question Mbappe going to go play for France. You wouldn't go question Yamal to go play for Spain. Any of the England guys play in England. Like I said, I can see how obviously it is an inconvenience, especially for some teams, like my team, for example. But at the same time, Sebastian Haller, I think this week actually said something about it as well too. I think he got like a out of pocket question from one of the reporters, and it's like, why are you even putting me in this position to say like to saying what you're saying? But you know, some teams are going to fare off a little bit better, but we'll see. I mean, we got some stat groups here, so yeah, it should be interesting for sure.
Sunderland with 6 players going. I didn't know 6 players are leaving Sunderland. That's massive for them.
Is Adingra going?
Probably. He's
Nah,
not.
he didn't. He was one that I was really surprised that didn't get called up.
But still, I mean,
yeah,
6 players, bro. I mean, that's a lot, especially for a newly promoted team. I didn't know that had this many players going. I'm looking at them differently in the league now because
yeah,
that's definitely season changing. Losing 6 players.
that's more than half your lineup. So, yeah. Who do you think?
Yeah.
I was going to ask y'all. Who do you think has is losing the most? Like, who do you think is really based off the players that are leaving? Them, who do you guys think is going to take?
West Ham, Sunderland, y'all.
I think
Yeah, I think
I mean,
West Ham. I would say West Ham too.
West Ham for sure.
Who's West Ham losing?
they're losing Wan Bissaka and Diouf, yeah.
Bro, and they're already defensively in. So you're losing your 2 outside wing backs to start the winter. Oh yeah, bro. And they're already in the relegation zone? Yeah.
Who was the third
Oh,
person?
good for them.
2 outside backs and then who?
They're only missing 2 players, so it's Diouf
Okay.
and Wan Bissaka.
Key players though.
Yeah,
Key players.
Yeah.
that's a fact. Yeah, we're toast. I don't know. We gotta. We better get the 3 points tomorrow and soak it in with them here because, man, it's gonna be it'll be an interesting few weeks without Mbuemu, Ahmad, and Mazraoui.
Yeah, we'll see.
Where is Everton right now in the table?
Right now, Everton's in 9th place, sitting on 24 points, right behind Manchester United in 8th place, sitting on 25 points.
They lost 2 key players too. Gay is not gonna be there, and Njai is not gonna be there. So
yep,
he's their best player. So it's not gonna be good for them either.
Yeah, they got Grealish. I think
agree.
It's time for I'm just saying, like it's time for
Hey, you're right.
Some of the pale skinned folk to step up, man. Like just this is y'all time, man. We got Grealish, right? We got Mount. We got Shaw. Okay. Here you
go. Agree. No, I mean, I agree. Like you said, this is time for players to step up. It is, and we'll see because it's always a lot of talk about this and that.
Right.
Now you're gonna get exposed.
Yeah,
you're gonna be on the pitch, brother.
Yeah.
No, but Papy, one of the notes you talked about was the historical context of Morocco hosting this AFCON. Kind of speak on that. What did you want to highlight there?
Yeah. So the thing about it with Morocco is that obviously right now they're the first ranked country in the FIFA ranking for Africa, even though like the FIFA ranking isn't really that much important, according to some. But some, I mean, I guess it's a 50-50 take between Morocco and Senegal, but some would say Morocco is currently the best or at least, the most promising African team out there. And
Speak
the
on it. You
thing is,
Senegalese. What you think?
I don't know, man. Like I think it's tough. It's tough to say because obviously I feel like Senegal is better, objectively, but Morocco has looked good in all of their, all of their games. Like even the U20, they just won the World Cup, I think, with the
Hmm.
Yep.
U19 or something like that.
Yep.
So yeah, it's they're really solid right now. But the tricky part about it is Morocco hasn't went past quarterfinals since 2004 in the AFCON. So they're kind of used to, like, I wouldn't say choking, but like they haven't been performing well in the AFCON for the last 22 years, So it's a lot of pressure on them hosting, but also the reason why I want to talk about the host is that usually in AFCON, if the country that's hosting is decent enough, usually they win it. If it's not a good country, then like it's a 50-50 chance. But if the country is like top five, usually it's really, really hard for them to not win it. Tunisia won it in 2004. I believe Egypt won it in 2006. Uh, Ivory Coast won it last time,
Hmm.
2023. Yeah, and in between, I think Ghana is the only country that hosted it in 2008, I think, and didn't win it. I don't remember if it was Ghana or Angola, but
That
yeah,
sounds
other
about
than
right,
that,
Donna. That sounds about right.
yeah, yeah, other than that, every time a top five country hosts it, they win. And yeah, and especially if it's a Maghrebian country, Egypt, Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco, these countries when they host, they don't play, So um, it's definitely going to be something interesting, but also it's going to be a lot of pressure. Right now, my brother is in Morocco and he's been trying to get tickets for like a month now, but all the websites crashed. Like they're
Jeez.
not playing this. Like they all the tickets are sold out right now for all the Morocco games, even the final, because they believe they're going to be in the final. So right now it's definitely going to be tough. But I feel like the fact that they're hosting and the fact that they're them with Senegal are the two clear favorites to win this thing, and the fact that they're revered right now as the number one ranked country in Africa, that can be a pressure for them considering how they haven't been faring well in these tournaments. I think in 2006 they got eliminated in group stage, same in 2008. um there were a couple of AFCONs where they didn't qualify, like 2021 they didn't qualify. Last year they lost in round 16. The year before, same thing. So, like like I said, they haven't went past quarterfinals since 2004. So it's definitely going to be a major challenge for them. All the pressure is going to be on them, but I also think that they can deliver. I mean, we've seen how they've been doing the last few years, semi-finalists in the World Cup in 2022. First African team ever to accomplish that, you know, and yeah, so it's definitely going to be a challenge for them, I think.
I think it's interesting. I didn't know that most of the host countries win if they like win AFCON. That's a crazy stat. I had no idea
Yeah,
it was like that. But I
it's
mean, it makes sense, bro. Like when you're in your African country, and I mean, that's one thing we support is football. So I feel like if you have that home court advantage, it definitely gives you the boost. So
it for sure does. It for sure does. And I mean, if you're not like a top country, then maybe, for example, uh Gabon hosted in 2017, I think, or 2015. Obviously, they didn't win because like they only have Aubameyang as a good player,
mhm.
mostly, But countries like Egypt, Tunisia, Morocco, these type of countries, Cote d'Ivoire, whenever they host, it's very, very hard for them to not win. Also, usually, especially for Maghrebian countries, the refs be on their sides. So it's it's AFCON though. Like
Yeah.
it is what it is. But I think it's definitely going to be interesting for
We
Morocco.
saw what happened last year when the ref just blew the whistle early and called the game early. Like
Yeah,
it
Yeah,
but
wasn't.
that's
Yeah.
That
like
was
we
crazy.
can't have
and
we can't.
last year is the perfect example. Cote d'Ivoire in the brink of elimination, group stage, and somehow they turned it around and won the whole thing.
Mm.
They literally qualified, by luck, like literally got lucky, and then they suddenly like start like I remember in the group stage, like people were insulting the players online by the second game, bro. Like people were mad. And then somehow they turned it around. They beat Senegal in the round 16. They kept going. They beat I think they beat Nigeria. They beat all these countries and won the whole thing.
Mhm.
It was incredible. But like that's the power of hosting the thing. When you're hosting, like it's if you're a top country, you always figure it out in AFCON. So that's gonna be
Did they
interesting for
sack their
Morocco.
manager too in the group stage? They sacked him, right?
They sacked the manager after the second game.
After the second game.
Um after the
It's
second
crazy.
game. Because after the second game,
Nuts.
they had like 1 point after the second game, right?
Yeah.
They had 1 point after the second game. They were third. They had to win the third game, and then I don't know which country had to lose in order
Yeah.
for them to qualify. It
Yep.
was like some weird shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, they sacked the manager. They hired Faye, which he was a former player for Cote d'Ivoire. He was also the assistant coach. He got hired, and like they just turned it around like that. They won the whole thing, and they also qualified for the World Cup as well. So he's doing great. And yeah, now they're back to being good. So yeah, it's always a crazy story with the hosting country, man.
Yeah, that's great background and great perspective, kind of just on what Morocco has to look forward to, but also kind of what you said with the pressure that they have because they are the
Yeah,
hosts and because of what they've done in world football over the last, call it, 4 years since
right.
the World Cup especially. But Salam, I know you have the groups up here. To close out our AFCON talk, let's look at these groups, see what is hit info, and kind of talk about some of these countries that we expect to make it to the knockout stages. And some of these countries, that might be a little bit more difficult than, meets the eye. But Group A, we have Morocco, Mali, Zambia, and Comoros. I think we can all say that we expect Morocco to win that group. But who do we think that's going to be there in second place?
I would say Zambia. Mali is good, but Zambia usually, they're a very hard team to play in AFCON, man. Their players are most of their players play in their league, like the national league, so they all know
Mhm.
each other. They're used to playing with each other. They have history as well. They won the AFCON in 2012, and yeah, they're a solid team. They don't have like a lot of good like big profile, high profile names, but they're a solid team. Mali is a solid team as well, but Zambia being more experienced, I think, I would have them, coming out at second.
Nah, I got Mali. I ain't gonna lie. I think Mali's gonna pull it out.
Yeah, I think Mali too. I think that they had a good showing last tournament. I think they're going to
Mhm.
build off that. I think them. Um, what is it? Angola and I believe I want to say Comoros had really good tournaments. Congo had really good
Yeah.
tournaments last summer. So I think that they'll build off of that. So I'm gonna go Mali. Shout
All
out to
right.
Comoros. Shout out to Comoros, man.
Yeah, for them qualifying, that's a huge for them. So
That's
yeah,
big.
Yes,
Group A
yes.
will be interesting to see who comes out in that second place spot between Mali and Zambia. But Comoros may surprise us there. Group B, we got Egypt, South Africa, Angola, and Zimbabwe. Mo Salah,
Ha.
do we think what do we think about Mo Salah in Egypt this go round? This is probably one of his last tournaments. Potentially could be doing another one or two, but You know, the world has been talking about Mo Salah and Liverpool over the last week, but we all knew that he was going to dip out to Morocco for this AFCON. So pressure on Salah to win his first AFCON.
Uh,
I don't think there's pressure. I would say more so than anything, I think this is an opportunity to really prove, not really prove to himself, but there's just a lot going around you right now. I mean, obviously, you have the responsibility that you have to lead this team in the summer as well too. So, like, I think more than anything, like you got to do it for yourself. I don't think that like him not winning Afcon is like that's not the pressure. I think it's just I got to show that I still got it and I can still play at a high level.
yeah, I think it's the same thing. Just shut up all the haters right now. With by playing well on the pitch. So I truly think Egypt and South Africa will get out. I think Angola will they'll put up a good fight. Zimbabwe as well, but I think for me, Egypt and South Africa will clearly come out. And I think Salah do well. Be back home.
I think he'll do well too. It's to me, if you ask me, this is like this. I would say this is the second toughest group in the tournament. Angola is very solid. Believe it or not, I have South Africa coming out first. In the group, they've been amazing. These last 2 years. Head coach Hugo Bruce, since he's been appointed as the team's manager, he's been doing an incredible job. He has experience with the AFCON. He won the AFCON in 2017 with Cameroon. Uh, uh, the last AFCON, South Africa finished third, third place, and they've also qualified very easily for the World Cup. So they've been looking really, really good these last 2 or 3 years. I have them coming first, and then Egypt is Egypt, of course. I mean, seven-time AFCON champions. They have Salah. They'll definitely go out as well. But as far as winning the whole thing for Egypt, I don't think I doubt it. I think Salah will put up a good performance. I think he'll do his best, but I don't think with the opposition, I don't think Egypt has the necessary tools to like you know win the whole thing. But it's AFCON, so you never know.
Yeah, the Group B is a tough group. We'll look to see what Angola and Zimbabwe do to see if they can, shake things up in that Group B. With Group C, we have Nigeria, Tunisia, Uganda, and Tanzania. With Uganda, or sorry, not Uganda, but with Nigeria not qualifying for the World Cup, this is the only international tournament that they'll be taking part in this next few months. Do we think Nigeria kind of has something to prove in this AFCON, and how far do we see them going in this tournament?
Better, bro. I mean, they're not in the World Cup, so you still have something to fight for at least. I think you should just put your all into this tournament. I think they should easily get out this group. I think Uganda, Tunisia will get out this group. I think Uganda can make a a little run. I hope they can. I think they can, being honest. But my two clear favorites for this are Nigeria and Tunisia. I don't know if Nigeria will get super far in this tournament because I could honestly see them getting knocked out round of 16 or round of 8. You know, depending on who they get. But yeah, I don't know. Nigeria, man, not making the World Cup for me kind of showed me who you are as a unit. You know, Um, yeah.
I have I have Nigeria and Tunisia going out, but Nigeria, yeah, they're in under a lot of pressure, especially the head coach Eric Zell. He's under a lot of pressure because he was you know he was appointed to qualify for the World Cup. He failed
Hmm.
at that. Not only did they not qualify, but like I don't think if I don't know if y'all saw, but like he was blaming like he was blaming voodoo or whatever
Voodoo, yeah,
during the last
Juju.
game. He looked crazy on that, and yeah, so I think he's under a lot of pressure. Definitely, his job is on the line here. So they have to do well. But right now, they lack confidence. Go heading into the AFCON. So if what Gabe says happen, if Uganda makes a run, Tunisia is definitely gonna make it out. Nigeria should be careful, man. But yeah, I think they'll still figure it out. But yeah, I have them and Tunisia going out.
That's a good assessment.
Yeah,
I hated to hear the voodoo, man. I saw that video and I was like, damn, bro.
come on, bro.
I'm not saying it didn't happen, but it's just like, come on, man.
Yeah, that was lame, man.
Yo, AFCON's gonna be lit this year, guys.
It's lit.
You already know, man.
Hilarious.
I'm looking
It's
for
already
It's
hilarious.
already lit. It's already lit. All right. Group D has Senegal, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Benin, and Botswana. I'm gonna just hand it over to you, Papy. How's Senegal gonna do in this group? And then how are they gonna do overall in the tournament? What's your outlook for Senegal this year?
Uh, Nice group. I think DRC Congo is a very very hard team to play. We played them like about 2 months ago, I think. Um, we were in the same group in the World Cup eliminations. First game in Dakar, I think it was 1-1, and then we played them in Congo. They led 2-0, and then we came back 3-2. But it was a very tough game, and right now they're in the playoffs to qualify for the World Cup, and they're looking good too. So I think they're gonna want to take some sort of revenge on Senegal in the group stage for the AFCON. The two teams know each other very well by now because they've played each other a lot in the last few months. I still have Senegal going out first. I honestly think Senegal is gonna make it to the final. Um, I'm not gonna say we're gonna win it, but I would be very surprised if we don't make it at least to the final. Uh,
Hmm.
we have a very solid team. I think objectively on paper, we have the best team in the continent. I think
Okay.
it's even hard for the head coach to make a list because you leave out so many players that are good and that are playing in big clubs, but not everybody can make it. But in all my years of watching Senegalese football, I believe this is like the first time everybody's been satisfied with the list of players that have been called. Like there is literally no complaints about the list. It's almost perfect. And we've had some few players that were kind of like on the injuries list, but I think they're okay now.
Hmm.
Uh, and yeah, and my favorite part about this is Senegal is in Tanger, which is like the nicest city in Morocco, with the nicest stadium in the whole country. It's a brand new stadium with like 75,000
Oh wow.
capacity.
Hmm.
It's really nice, a really, really nice stadium. And Senegal is the only country in that city. All the like because the other countries are in different, they put multiple countries in the same city, but Senegal is it's the only country that's in one city, like there's nobody else, and they're gonna
Yeah.
play all their games there. So this is kind of like a gift from Morocco, Senegal and Morocco being like, really having really nice international relations. But yeah, I think that's gonna be nice. We're gonna get to play all our games in a city where there's a big Senegalese population, with a really nice stadium. And Senegal, they showcase their abilities in the highest level when they play in a utmost stadium, in a high quality stadium. So this is going to be good for the team. I think you know it's going to be a good thing to play all our games in the same city that the team stays in. So, you know, in terms of comfort, in terms of, like training or whatever, you're perfect. You're the only team that trains in the stadium. You play in the same stadium you train in. So no
Mhm.
excuses. No excuses. We should definitely win the group, and yeah, I think Senegal makes it at least to the final.
I don't think you spoke any lies there, good sir. I fully expect you to to be in the semifinal or final.
Yep.
Yeah, and you're right about Congo as well. I think it's too clear cut for me. Botswana may be able to make a little run, may make it interesting, but Senegal and
They are.
Congo, um, I think they're kind of clear cut to go through on this group.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Senegal's my pick to win it, bro. I think that they have everything. They have veteran leadership. They have experience. Um, they have young players that are coming and finding form as well too. And yeah, bro. I think from the back line to the attack, I think that they're definitely the most complete team. So I know Morocco's at home, and I know that they've been playing well, but nah, this is my pick to win it all. If they can stay healthy, they gotta stay healthy. They got Mane as well too. So to see Mane with Njai and Nicholas Jackson and Papi Sarr, all these guys, like, it's gonna be fun to watch, man.
It's a beautiful sight. Seeing the list is a beautiful sight, man.
Yeah, bro. I just wanted to say too, I thought it was interesting that you said this was the first time in a while where, I guess the overall consensus has been like we've picked the best players. We've been happy with the selection of the players that we were picked. I think that was interesting because it's not always the case. But
Yep.
most of your guys are all healthy as well too, or coming back, so that's good.
Yep.
Yeah. I think we can all agree with Senegal has the best roster on paper, but like Papi alluded to, anything could happen in AFCON. So I think, Morocco giving you guys a little bit of leeway in where you play and, being in a city with the biggest stadium is showing you guys your respect. But at the end of the day, we know that Morocco and Senegal are probably the two favorites. And we do want to see you on the final. This is one of those where we know how good you guys are as a nation. We know how good these individual players are that, play on the world stage in the Champions League and in the top 5 European leagues. But the World Cup's coming up, and we've always been talking about it. Can an African nation go far? We saw Morocco do it last World Cup. I think when we look at Senegal, when we look at Ghana, those 3 nations from Africa right now, we're really leaning on you guys to show up in the World Cup. That's unfortunate we weren't able to see Ghana here in the AFCON, but as we move on to Group E, we look at Algeria, Burkina Faso, Equatorial Guinea, and then Sudan, who's able to qualify for the AFCON, which is huge. Shout out to them, especially with what's going on in their nation right now. Another country that was not able to play any home games for, their AFCON qualification or their World Cup qualification matches at that point. But as we look at Group E, who do we think comes out of Group E? And Algeria, it's another country that, Papi, you're talking about these Maghreb countries. They'll also feel close to home. Do we see Algeria making a run in this tournament?
Algeria and Sudan. Clear for me. Clear.
I have Algeria and Burkina Faso.
Okay. They can shake up the group too. They can shake up the group.
Yeah, Burkina is they're solid. The last 2 AFCONs they went far. I think 2023 we beat them in semifinals, if I'm not mistaken. And 2025 I think they made it to quarterfinals. I don't know, but yeah, they're solid. Algeria is definitely they were in some crisis over the last few years, but they back now. I think they just qualified for the World Cup, and they're also Morocco's biggest app in Africa. And if both teams make it out, they can face each other in quarterfinals or semifinals, I think. But they're in the same side of the bracket, so yeah, I have them coming out. Algeria, Burkina.
All right. And then our last group will be Group F. We have Cote d'Ivoire, Cameroon, Gabon, and Mozambique. So who do we think comes out of this group? And then, before we move on, we got to talk about Cameroon and what's been coming out of that camp.
We gotta talk about Cameroon, man.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm just gonna say Cameroon and Cote d'Ivoire, but I mean, we'll get to Cameroon. I don't. Do they come out? Maybe Gabon and Aubameyang can figure something out. Maybe they can do something. But yeah, I would say Cameroon and Cote d'Ivoire. My choices.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Cameroon don't make it out, man. This Gabon team, Aubameyang, part of it too is just timing. And you look at Aubameyang is in form right now. Dennis Buenga as well too, from LAFC. Like, bro, he's I think he's gonna have a really good tournament as well too. He's had a good season, so yeah. I mean, with the only reason why I don't think Cameroon will make it is because of the background noise. I hate. I don't think teams have a good chance when they're entering the tournament with background noise. I don't think that ever helps.
Yeah, it never helps. We saw it with France in the 2010 World Cup.
Yeah.
it's yeah. I have Cote d'Ivoire and Gabon coming out. I don't think Cameroon makes it. And if we get to the Cameroon topic, I can explain why. But yeah.
Yeah, no, let's just talk about it right now. And it was funny because last week when we recorded, there was already some news coming out of the Cameroon camp, but I didn't really want to speak on it because a lot of it was rumors. One of the rumors, though, was Abubakar, their striker, was not named to the team sheet. And it seems that, Samuel Eto'o, who is the president of Cameroonian Soccer's Federation, he's currently the all-time leading goal scorer for Cameroon. And Abubakar, he's close as far as where he stands on the all-time goal-scoring list for Cameroon, being that this would be, one of his last chances to play with the national team, as he's getting up there in age. It was, reported, again, this is all reports. Nothing has been substantiated. We don't know this fact, but Eto'o blocked Abubakar being on the team due to Eto'o having a little bit of ego and not wanting his record to be broken by anyone else. So that was last week. I didn't really want to talk about that because I was like, man, rumors are crazy. As soon as AFCON starts, the rumor mill be swirling. But then in the past week,
sure,
we heard even more news coming out of the Cameroon camp. And this is just a report from yesterday. Cameroon, it was reported, has 2 different squad lists for AFCON 2025. Their coach, Mark Brice, refuses to leave after being fired by Cameroon FA President Samuel Eto'o. Apparently, because he was hired by the Ministry of Sports, he insists that he hasn't been dismissed. Eto'o himself hired a new coach, David Pagou. This is yesterday, kind of still ongoing as far as what's going to happen with Cameroon. But first and foremost, just based off those 2 stories, we kind of already alluded to it. It's not good to start a tournament with baggage. And I think this is the worst type of baggage that you can have. This is coming down from the highest position in your country's soccer federation, the president, Samuel Eto'o, who we all know as a prolific scorer. We all know as, an icon and a superstar in his own right, having played for some of the biggest teams in the world, Inter Milan, Barcelona, just to name a few. But you can't do this.
Mention Chelsea. He played for your club, bro.
I just said just to name a few. Chelsea as well, obviously Chelsea. But when it comes down to Eto'o now on the governing side, these are things that you just don't want to see. As Africans, we always talk about the corruption that we see in our countries. We always talk about, how people take power and abuse it. We got to call it out when we see it. This is just abuse of power in the highest order. And this kind of tarnishes your legacy. Not even kind of. This does tarnish your legacy. For all the good that you did on the pitch, you would hope that as you become a governing body for your country, that you pay it forward, that you want to, embrace everything that you've done, but give to the game. And this is taken away from the game. And I don't know. This is just, it was tough to read, but as we hear more and more, I feel like it just doesn't look good for Eto'o right now.
Yeah, for the first time ever, we have a country that goes into a tournament with two different lists, two different squads. Like AFCON is like usually AFCON gets funny when the competition starts, but
Yeah.
this year,
Before it even
this
starts,
shit,
it's hot.
this year is like already hilarious, bro. Like this is crazy to me. Like, so yeah, as Corn said, um, Eto'o and Brice being the head coach appointed by the Ministry of Sports in Cameroon. He and Eto'o have been beefing for the last 2 years. They've this has been a beef for a while. They had an altercation last year in no, yeah, 2024. They had an altercation where like it's like for the first time they met when he was appointed. Eto'o is like shaking his hand and looking at him in the eyes, and he's like, "Don't talk to me like that. I'm your boss." Basically, literally tell him that to his face, and it's like, "You wouldn't talk to, you wouldn't talk to me like that if I was like from another country or whatever." So, and it started bad, like from the get-go, and yeah, they had issues in the last AFCON. There were some problems. Abubakar made, some comments, kind of like throwing, the staff and the players under the bus when they got eliminated in the last AFCON. They didn't qualify for the World Cup. You know, this is a country that won the AFCON 5 times. This is a country that usually makes it to the World Cup. So, it's always an issue, but the federation, has been a total, fiasco, man. Like for the last 3 years, it's like every 3 to 6 months you hear something hilarious regarding Cameroon. And now, you know, the coach Brice is saying, as long as the minister doesn't officially, make it official that he's no longer the coach, he still considers himself as the coach. And Eto'o appointed David Pagou, who is his protege, as the new head coach. And the guy, uh, you know, published the squad for the tournament, and there was no Angisa, no Onana, no Abubakar, and yeah, Choupo-Moting wasn't called either. So these are like their four biggest players. He didn't call any of them. You know, he obviously explained that by saying, by he, I mean Eto'o, he explained that by saying that the country needs, some fresh, some young players, but we heard the rumors, and yeah, I think this is going to be a disaster for Cameroon, man. I don't see them coming out of this group. Not a chance.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think it just sucks on who it is, man. It's like, as someone as accomplished as Samuel Eto'o is, as an icon, like what he represents for us, I don't know. It just really sucks. And you would want someone of that stature to bring that experience and kind of implement that experience and with their federation. But like Poppy says, it seems as if ever since I heard the news about him being appointed in that position, it hasn't been positive for whatever reason. And yeah, it's unfortunate that especially if he really didn't call him, if he didn't call Abubakar up, I think that's kind of
It's fishy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
maybe.
team do you get called up, bro? What? Like you're not calling up players that are actually going to help you win the trophy. So
I mean, wasn't Abubakar Golden Boot of the last AFCON?
I think he was.
Wasn't
he
he?
was.
Yeah.
Either the last one or the one
Or
before.
maybe it was two AFCONs
Yeah,
ago. But
yeah, it was the one
yeah.
before. It was
The one before.
But
Yeah,
even
the
even the last one, he had a great tournament there as well.
The
But
World Cup. He scored some crazy goals in the World Cup as well.
Yeah.
The last World Cup. And yeah, this is like Senegal not calling Sadio Mane, for example. Like this is crazy. And Eto's been doing this for a while. Last AFCON, Rigobert Song was the head coach. He was big player for Cameroon as well. He was the captain for Cameroon. He won about 3 AFCONs, I think, with the country. He was appointed. He's Eto's friend. He was appointed by Eto'o, but like during games, Eto'o would literally come, to the locker room during the huddle, and he would basically talk as if he was the coach. He like you could tell he was like pulling the strings, and basically he thinks it's his team. So he's been doing this for a while now.
Yeah, man. These egos will get in the way, and they can make or break, a country. And this side, this time it looks like it's going to break, and not in a good way. So, congrats to all the teams that did qualify for AFCON. Good luck to all the teams that'll be playing, and safe travels for all the teams going to and from Morocco in this next months, and for all the fans as well. It's a time that everybody should be rejoicing. Go see a new culture, go see a new country. For a lot of these teams, this is what you want to see, man. We always talk about it. AFCON is a tournament of vibes. We usually say the fun starts during the tournament, but we already got some fun leading up to the tournament. So,
bro, what if Breeze isn't like, what if the minister doesn't say anything, and like we got two coaches with 2 squads coming up like in the same tournament, like
2 sets of players gonna go.
Like how does it work? Like how does it work? Like what happens, man? I want to see how it goes, man. This is
because you have to submit your official roster to the tournament.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We gonna find out, I guess.
Wait, so you're saying
and Brice is right. Like legally, he's still the head coach legally. Because if the minister doesn't, the minister is the one. I don't know how it works for most countries, but usually for African countries, that's how it works. So on paper, he's still the head coach. Like he has a good point. So this is a hilarious situation, man.
Just to clarify one more time, who has the second team? The coach has one team. Who made the second team?
The squad that came out without Abu Bakar and all of them was made by David Pagou, who was appointed by Eto'o.
Okay.
But since it wasn't the president of the Federation of Football that appointed Brice, but it was the minister. It can only be the minister that can officially, relieve him of his duties. So until that's done, he considers himself as the head coach still, and he says he's going to publish his own list, and all those players will be in it, according to him. He said he's going to call Abu Bakar and all of them. So now we have just this hilarious situation. And I just wonder like how it's gonna go,
man. I got high hopes for you. We gonna see.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, AFCON 2025, Morocco. It's gonna be a tournament. It's gonna be a tournament, man. So yeah, just wanted to talk about AFCON. We went, a little bit longer than expected, but this is going to be something that is ongoing for the next month or so. So definitely tap in and check in with us weekly. We'll have updates on AFCON. I know we don't have too much time, Papy. Don't want to keep you too long either, but we got to talk about our Premier League teams this week. Just going to jump right into it.
Before, can I just ask one last question?
It's go ahead.
So you all say you all have Senegal winning the AFCON, right?
I do.
Honestly, I got Morocco.
You got Morocco? Gabe, okay. So who do you got as your dark horse for the tournament?
As my dark horse? I got Egypt because I think Salah has something to prove a little bit. Kind of like what we were saying earlier. He did have a little bit of a hiccup this past week, 2 weeks, and he was benched, and I feel like we all kind of agree that his form wasn't great, but somebody like Salah, he still feels like he can go at the top level, and I think he's going to have a little extra motivation. So I kind of have to put him up there. It's my dark horse.
I would say Congo for me. I think Congo's my dark horses in this tournament. I think no one's really looking at them like that, but if they're a hot team right now. A hot team can go deep in a tournament, so I'll go.
That's a good shout. I don't know if they're considered a dark horse, but I'll say that they are because there seems to be a consensus that there's two teams better than this team. But I would say Cote d'Ivoire. I don't think that they really lost too much from the last team that they had, aside from a few wingers. But you have guys that are, doing really well for their clubs. So I'm a side with Cote d'Ivoire.
I think I'm gonna side with South Africa.
Mm.
It was between either them or Congo, but I think South Africa is gonna make some noise this year.
Okay.
Dope. Yeah, definitely gonna be good to watch this tournament, man. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, just want to talk about our Premier League teams before we talk about our respective squads. I do want to talk about Man City. Big win today. Just massive jumps that City's been doing. Kind of flying under the radar, but now I don't think that we can say that they're under the radar. If you want to look at Ryan Cherky in his last 5 games for City, he has 4 assists, in his last 5 games. If you want to look at Phil Foden, in his last 4 games, he scored 6 times in the league. These two, I said it in our group chat a little bit earlier, they're becoming an issue for the league. City just keeps on rolling. We'll talk about Arsenal a little bit later. They were able to get their 3 points this week, which was massively needed if they want to keep their gap here on the Premier League table. But City, can't you see? Sometimes the league is coming with me. Yeah, man. What we want to say about City? I know we don't talk too much about them, but I feel like we have to bring them back into the discussion. Pep's doing a thing again, and it was crazy when I looked at their roster. Yeah, they have some players. They have some world-class players, clearly in Haaland, clearly in Phil Foden, Bernardo Silva. But they have a lot of young players, that I feel like are flying under the radar. Matheus Nunes has been putting in great shifts. This is a guy that we're kind of making fun of earlier in the year, especially last year. But he's starting to fit in that City team. When you look at their bench, it's a lot of academy players that have been called up to step in big roles. We talked about Doku a little bit earlier this year. He's starting to finally emerge as one of those consistent wingers that City can rely on week after week. Is City citying again?
I mean, I think they are. I think that this is I feel like whatever blip that they were in, I don't think that they're in that anymore. And like you said, I think it's just timing. Timing is everything. And you're going into December, the most busy period of the season. And, Foden, we talk about Foden a lot. Where is he? Well, he's been contributing. So is Cherky. Haaland seems to be scoring every game, damn near. And it's not pretty with them, but I don't know. I just feel like some of these guys are finding form. Ruben Diaz, I felt like this is the best I've seen Ruben Diaz in a few years. I remember we did a Star Sub Sell on him. We do our sessions at the Sycamore the other time, and I was like, man, Ruben Diaz has not been at that top level for a minute, but he's been solid. Donnarumma's had some good saves for him. So yeah, man, I think that they're in a good spot. They have players that are finding form. I still feel like they have a few players that could still hit another gear. Like Cherky, bro. He hasn't even started scoring yet. Oh, I don't even know if he really needs to. He can just create and just let Foden, Haaland, and all the other guys get a goal. But yeah. You're right, Cornelius. Shout out to guys like was it O'Reilly?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shit, he's pretty consistent for a young guy. You got to give him credit.
Yeah, I mean, I said this before. City will be who City is. I mean, the team's the thing that told me about this match this week is just like great teams only need one opportunity. Like Crystal Palace could have put this game away in the first half. They had chance after chance after chance. After half chance after chance, and you aren't good enough, bro. City had like one real chance, and they scored Haaland scored. Like Crystal Palace had so many, opportunities to put themselves in front. So yeah, I just think City is doing what City does, and we have a player like Haaland performing the way he is. Phil Foden is getting his groove back. You add Turkey to it, you add Tijani Rounders to it. We haven't even talked about Marmoush. He hasn't even really been playing that much. And whenever he decides to potentially get back in the mix and get in the groove, yeah, man, they're gonna be dangerous. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think this City team, if you haven't been looking at them in weeks previous, it's time to start paying attention to where they're at. We'll bring them up because of who they play next week a little bit later. But, last week we had on Mar, who is a Liverpool fan, kind of asked him about, how he has been handling the whole Mo Salah situation and just Liverpool as a whole, with their up and down season. But Ekatike, TikTok, Hugo, whatever you want to call him, Hugo scores goals. Man, another brace today for Liverpool, or yesterday, sorry, in their 2-0 win over Brighton. Isak, you're gonna have to chill on the bench until Buddy start messing up, because Ekatike, man, I've been saying this since the beginning of the year. It seems like when he came into this Liverpool side, he knew all the noise of the summer transfer saga between he and Isak. And I think he kind of just put his head down and he decided, yo, I'm going to work. And if the manager decides not to start me, fine. If the manager decides to start me, fine. Whether I start or not, I will be scoring goals, and he just proved it again this weekend. 2 goals in their 2-0 win. Looked great, got taken off at the end of the match, but Isak went in, and every time I see Isak, I feel like he's trying to do a little bit too much, because I know, like, I feel like he understands that he's in a battle with Ekatike, and Ekatike just looks a little bit more comfortable right now. Papy, as a Liverpool supporter, how do you feel about the whole striker situation? And, with a 2-0 win over Brighton, do you think your team is starting to find a little bit more form?
I wouldn't say that. I have to see more from them, honestly. It's it's a very weird situation, honestly, this season. I could say for the first time, like, this is the situation that I just can't comprehend. Like, I don't know how Liverpool can go from winning the league last year to adding better players, between last year and this year, like during the summer, and then looking this bad for absolutely no reason. Regarding the striker situation, I think it's a matter of, like, who scores goals and who contributes more to the team, who's got the most confidence. The coach will always play the player that he feels is, gonna help the team better. So whoever is gonna be bench has to just, show that they can contribute as well when they get on the pitch. And yeah, I think it's a matter of, like, not figuring out how to mesh them well. Maybe, like, another coach could potentially or possibly see a way that they can both play together at the highest level. Maybe this coach just doesn't have the solution for them too. So I think yeah, I don't know, but we'll see. We're still in mid-December. There's still a lot of football to play. So yeah, maybe the situation can be turned around. But yeah.
I was going to ask you, Poppy. One of the big talking points has been Mohamed Salah this season. Do you think he's, as they say, past it, or do you think he's still going to be like a big contributor for you guys?
I think a world-class player like Salah can always be a great contributor for any team he plays for. That's for sure. Now, his best days are behind him, if we don't kid ourselves. I don't think he can I honestly don't think he can show us more than he's already shown us. I don't think he can play better football than we've already seen from him. but I think he's still Mo Salah. He's still one of the greatest Premier League players ever. He's still, the greatest Liverpool player ever, arguably. And I think, you know, this situation was maybe like the team kind of reminding him that, like, no matter how good you are, you're not above the club. You know, maybe, I guess you can point the blame on each side, but to answer your question specifically, yes, I think he can still contribute to the team. It's been a bad season for everyone, so like I guess the spirits are kind of down right now in the club, but I think Salah, is great enough to, you see this with players usually, we've seen it with Ronaldo in Manchester United, even with Sadio Mane, like there was like last year, a lot of Senegalese players were saying, to stop calling him, to start benching him, and he every time we played a big game, he scored clutch goals to show that he's still him, and I think it's the same thing for Salah. He can still contribute. I think it's just a matter of form. He's not on the best form right now, but if he can turn things around, it will be good. But it's not a good thing though that Liverpool is saying that they would sell him if they find, a good offer, because I guess that usually makes the player not want to perform at the highest level anymore. So I don't know.
Do you think he'll leave in this summer? Because they kept panning to him. They kept panning to him when he was doing his little when he was applauding the fans.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. I think he probably will leave. He was going, like, it's been brewing that he was gonna leave for the last 2 years already. Uh, but right now with this whole situation, clearly, uh, he and the coach are not, in good terms. Usually though in football, if someone has to leave, it's the coach first. And I don't know. I don't know if Liverpool doesn't finish the season well and they fire the coach, maybe he'll stay if a coach that he likes comes along, or maybe he'll leave. I don't know. It's right now, it's not sure. Honestly, I can't say.
Yeah, good points. I think him leaving again for AFCON right now is kind of both good for him and his mental as he goes home and tries to get, the focus away from that, but also at the same time I think it was really good to see him come on this past weekend in the way he did. Obviously you don't want to see a player get hurt in Joe Gomez, but the fact
Yeah.
that Salah came on in the first half and he was able to produce, get an assist. He also looked good on the pitch. They keep showing the video of him sprinting back after a corner to help defend, on a counter attack from the other team. You know, they highlighted it saying, Mo Salah is not known for his defensive work, but here he's showing that he has the understanding that he's going to have to show the team that he has to walk and lead by example. So for me, I think it's good on both parties. Salah was able to leave on a good note, on a high note, on a win, and now he's able to go to AFCON and start to just hopefully find form again because it's been a minute since he's scored. So we definitely need to see him back on the score sheet. But yeah, Liverpool. I think that was fair for you to say. You need to see a little bit more to find out if they're going to be consistent. But
Yeah.
to segue it to my team, since Mike's not here, I'll talk about Chelsea a little bit. I kind of feel the same way about you, man. This consistency thing. I feel like that's the word of the year. Just consistency. All of our teams, we've been looking for it. And with Chelsea, it was good to see us once again with another clean sheet on the season. I feel like that's something that I've been harping on this year a lot. Obviously, we know we've been known to score goals, but we've also been known to leak goals. So for us to get a clean sheet against an Everton team who's been very, very good, they were coming off back-to-back wins, I believe, against Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest, who are mid-table teams, but teams that we've struggled with this season. So for me to see Everton on the schedule, I thought it was a little bit of a trap game, but it was great to see Cole Palmer come back. He didn't look the best, but he got that early goal. Honestly, I'm glad he was taken off when he was in the 60th minute. He looked a little bit rusty, to be honest. He looked a little bit rusty, but quality is quality. You with a player like that, you only need one or two chances for him to actually make his mark on a match. And so it was good for him to get that goal early. I think that does great things for his confidence, but also just for the squad. You want your best player to be firing, even if he isn't at his best. So for Cole to get that goal was massive for us. Malo Gusto put in a 10 out of 10 performance. He was massive for us. I said this in the group chat, and I'll say it out loud. For me, he's a starting right back for France. I mean, there are definitely some others that can make a very, very loud argument. I don't want to take anything from, Teo or Lucas Hernandez, who have been playing in those outside back positions for that French team, but it's a new guard, man. It's time that we look at some new, fresh blood in a lot of these positions. This French team, clearly Mbappe is a leader, but on a year where Dembele also just won the Ballon d'Or and the Champions League, we have to start looking at this French team and start saying, look, Cherki's playing week after week for City, and he's putting performances out. So with this World Cup coming up, we have to start looking at some of the players that play for our clubs and clubs around the world, and we kind of have to start having these difficult positions or conversations on who deserves to be there and who is actually the best in their position, But, just to bring it back to Chelsea, I think that when we look comfortable, we can play with anyone. And I don't really want to blame it on, having to play 5 games in however many days, because we always like to say that we're the youngest team in the league, so we should be the most fit team in the league. We shouldn't, have to worry about rotating players week after week after week. I know it's an issue, but these guys are 19, 20, 21, 22 years old. These guys have been playing multiple games a season for the last few years now, so they kind of know what to expect with Chelsea Football Club. We're in Champions League. We're in these domestic tournaments. I think the announcer said that we're on track to play somewhere around 65 games this year if we can go deep in all of these tournaments. This is something we know at the beginning of the year. Like Salam says, injuries happen, but we need to keep the consistency. A win like today is great, but I don't know if we're going to put in the same performance this weekend. And that's the issue with Chelsea. So for me, it's great to see these type of performances. It's great to see the individual performances from players like Malo Gusto, from players like Reece James. Reece James, this is the first time he's played 3 90-minute back-to-back matches in 3 years. It's great to see all of these things, but will we be doing this in March and April and May? That's kind of where I stand right now with Chelsea, but can never be upset about a clean sheet, can never be upset about a win, especially against a team that, had a little bit of momentum, kind of stopped them in their tracks. So Chelsea looks good to me. I just need to see this consistency, and I need to see Maresca once again putting players in their best positions and in opportunities for us to go and win matches. And when I looked at the lineup, I think that was one of our best 11. Shout out Wesley Fofana. I'd be remiss if I didn't give him a shout out. He's turned our back line into something where I feel comfortable when it's him and Chalobah back there. I think those are our best 2 center backs right now. Whenever we have a big match, when you look at the Barcelona game, when you look at the Arsenal game, it was Wesley Fofana and Chalobah. I think that's our best 2 pairing. And for me, outside of these big or some of these smaller matches, these FA Cups, these Carabao matches, those should be the only 2 starting. Because at this point for Chelsea, every match for us is an important match. So we can't really go and just say, oh, it's Fulham, oh, it's Bournemouth, oh, it's Leeds, oh, it's Everton. Let's go put in Tosin. Let's go put in Badiashile. Let's give a Chempong, a run. No, let's put our best 11 on the pitch in all of these matches, unless we know it's one of those where we can slack off a little. That's how I feel about Chelsea right now. We just need to continue to put together good performances and kind of see where this year takes us. But Chelsea looks good right now. Cannot complain. Still top 4. We got a big match coming up, this weekend. But for now, I kind of want to talk about Arsenal. Big win this past weekend. 2-1 win against Wolves at home. Both goals, or all 3 goals, actually coming in the second half. First half was a little bit tit and tat. Own goal to start it off. Wolves equalized in the 90th minute, and what I thought was going to be a massive point for them. And then off a corner in the 94th minute, ball gets bopped around in the attacking third for Arsenal, and they get away with another one. Gabriel, your overall thoughts on the match, and a lot of talk about City right now. I kind of just want to jump the gun a little bit, and I kind of want to see your thoughts on that upcoming match. But before we talk about City Arsenal, your thoughts on the Wolves win this past weekend?
I mean, I've probably said this a couple of times, but this is for sure the worst match we've played all season. I've never seen our team look this bad.
I feel like that's the second weekend in a row you said that.
Yeah. Just the overall performance. I mean, I was watching the first 45 minutes, and just everything was slow. Everyone was taking 2-3 touches on the ball, 4 touches on the ball before they released it. Wolves was more than comfortable just sitting in the low block, and we really weren't creative, moving off the ball quick enough. It just looked very lethargic, and Declan Rice and Saka looked like our best players by far the entire match. The ones that are trying to keep the momentum going. But honestly, an awful performance from the entire team, barring honestly really those two. I want to go again and say this, bro. Arteta's starting to lose me again, bro. I don't understand in a match like this why Zubimendi and Rice are both starting. Makes no sense. I've always said that when we play teams that we should be dominating and we should be, like I said, just completely dominating other teams. Wolves is one of those teams that we should be completely dominating. There shouldn't even be a question about it. And I want to see our manager be more aggressive, more creative-minded, attacking-minded. And Zubimendi and Rice isn't the most attacking-minded midfield that we have. On top of that, we need creative players to break down a low block. Not saying that Zubimendi and Rice aren't creative or Zubimendi isn't creative, but we don't need 2 of them. We only need 1 of them if we're going to dominate 80% possession, 90% possession of a match, So I think the lineup to start didn't really make sense. And I really just want to talk about the midfield because I just don't understand it. I just don't get it. He's starting to make the wrong decisions in our lineup. I'm not saying that the players couldn't play better themselves, but I do think this is a lineup issue as well, and why things were slow and lethargic. I know I've said this is our worst 90 minutes all season. That's probably my second time saying this in like 2 weeks, but bro, we got away. This is how bad Wolves are. We got away with 2 own goals. That's how we won this match. 2 own goals is how we happen to get 3 points. And I think that's extremely telling on how bad this Wolves team is. Just being completely honest, this Wolves team is one of the worst, I think, in the Prem. I think, like I've been saying, I don't know if they get a win in 2025. I think they may have the lowest point total in a Premier League season after this season. Truly think that. Because how we scored 2 own goals and that's how we get through. Insanity to me. Insanity. It's another bad thing that we lost Ben White again this upcoming this match. 30 minutes in, I think he pulled his hamstring. I don't know exactly what the injury is, but that's what it looked like on the pitch. So another defender lost on top of us just not having a lot of our defensive line being out already. So unfortunate. But yeah, man, like I said, I think this is very telling for our squad. I think this is a pivotal moment for our squad because I was looking at, player reactions and things during the match, when we scored, after the match. And if you look at Declan Rice, when we scored the goals during that match, after the match, he was pissed off the entire time. And there was a report that came out that said he was fuming a bit at the players in the locker room post match, which I think is warranted. I think we need someone, a leader, to step up, and someone in our leadership group, because he's a part of that, and someone to step up and say this absolutely isn't good enough. And if we want to win anything this year, like we have been wanting to win for the past couple of years, we can never go out and put a performance like this ever again, whether it's against the Wolves or whether it's against the Real Madrid. So I think this is a pivotal moment in our season for our squad, our players, and also our management, and our leadership to really look at what's going on, what the performance is. And we got away with one this week. That's how bad this team is. We got away with one. But if you want to win the Premier League, if you want to win the Champions League, if you want to win the Carabao Cup, if you want to win the FA Cup, you can never put in a performance like this again. And I don't think this should ever be acceptable ever again. So again, we need to stop leaking goals as well. Another goal, and I mean, I've said it how many times in Papy. Once again, you know what I mean? Causing it was your guy who got the flick on it for a header to score. Like I don't every week. Bro, it's in the film. Watch the silent film. Watch it. It's right there in front of your face, bro. So, like I said, man, he's having a rough go at it, but it's not like we have time to let you settle in, bro. Our defensive line is hurt. Mosquera's out. Gabriel's out. Ben White is now out. Cal Fiore was suspended. He's going to come back next match, but it's like, bro, we almost Saliba's just now coming back. But it's like we're gonna have to play you in matches, bro. Like that hurt defensively that now Lewis Skelly's gonna have to be back in regular rotation. Cal Fiore might move to the middle. Who knows what he's gonna do with the back line, but you're gonna have to play minutes because these defenders are not gonna be able to play 90 minutes every single match, and we have Champions League as well. So yeah, man. We need to figure it out. But this is obviously I hope this is just one that is just a real quick blip, and we get back to business come next week. But we'll see, man.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Odegaard and Eze, bro, they have to figure it out. I'm sorry, they have to figure it out. He has to figure it out. There's no reason that these two players are good enough and they can't play with each other. You have to figure it out.
No, I agree. I think this is definitely one of those games, like you said, where he can be a little bit more attack-minded. And just start the both of them. You have Declan Rice there. You should be fine. But I just want to say, man, if you're Wolves, wow. Talk about deflating. You were already going through a rut. Man, you talk about highs and lows. When they got the equalizer, I was like, I think we were still talking, Cornelius, and then I was like, how massive is this for Wolves right now to get a goal at the Emirates, to get a point, much needed point against Arsenal, and then for you to give up the goal like that, yeah, you're done. By January, this team will be done, guys. It sucks.
What do they have? 2 points?
2. 2 draws on the season.
I had more points in my men's league, my basketball league, than the Wolves right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, this Wolves team, man, it's
sad stuff, man.
It's sad, bro.
I agree with Gabe. It's on pace to be arguably the worst Premier League team ever because at this rate, man. 2 points in 16 games. That's
it's insanity, bro.
216, man. 216. Show up everywhere, Papy. Telling you. I'm telling you, my boy.
16 more games, we'll get 2 more points.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
This is bad, man. This is very bad.
Yeah.
And it's funny because just a couple of years ago they were decent actually. They were mid-table, But yeah,
It was good when they had Cunha, but I mean, like, no lie though. I mean, I feel like they've gotten like picked apart every season. How long ago did they have Pedro Neto? Was that 2 seasons ago?
That was like 2 seasons ago.
2-3 seasons ago. But no, they've been fighting for their life for time, bro. I'm telling you, bro. Ruben Neves kept that team up. Pedro Neto kept that team up. They had
Jimenez before his injury.
Bro, I felt like in the span of 5 years, though, they seem to have lost like one of their best players.
Yeah, I mean, Cunha, they Trincao at a certain point. Like, bro, they've been fighting for their life for time. I mean, bro, seriously, you can go back to our episodes a couple of years ago. We're like, bro, Wolves is gonna get relegated, and somehow, some way, they used to find some points, bro.
Bro, they had Vitinha on their team 3 years ago. Like they had players, bro. So like they've had a lot of Portuguese high-profile players walk through in the last.
Vitinha, can you imagine?
Yeah, bro, I remember when Vitinha went to PSG. I was like, from Wolves?
Yeah.
What do they see there? And clearly we didn't see it at Wolves because he wasn't able to showcase it. But I fully remember that Vitinha move, and that was the one move that shocked me. I was like, the same cat on Wolves? Yeah. All right, I guess. And it just goes to show, what change of perspective can do for a player and a team.
Yeah, they got scored on 35 times.
Yeah. Shout out, man.
That's almost twice a game.
Dude, I saw they try and get Adama Traore in the January window. For what? What is
they want him back?
Like, I mean, they need someone to hold the ball up. I guess I could see the vision. They need someone fast, pacey, who can get him behind, but he's terrible at finishing. So it's like, I don't know how well that's going to go. And then also, yeah, I don't know. But they're getting relegated.
Do they have players leaving for the AFCON? Because if they do, it's even worse.
I think they do have players. Let me check.
Probably do. Where's Bellegrand from?
Yeah, I think they do.
They have 2 players leaving. One on Cameroon, and I actually don't know this flag.
Man, yeah, it's bad, bro. I think they can already prepare for D2.
D2.
It's funny. It's funny though. Like, it's funny though, because like these teams get relegated and somehow they suddenly start playing well. Like, I don't understand how it happens.
Because the pressure, man. They don't have any pressure. It's like, I know I'm cooked, so let's go out there and just play kind of pressure free. But yeah, man, I thought Sheffield the 1 year was bad. And I mean, they were one of the worst teams in the Premier League. This is unprecedented. I think like this is unprecedented territory. Like, bro, you might not get a win till like who's gonna lose to you? Because we almost did. So like, who's truly gonna lose to you?
Yeah, now it's like, who's gonna be that first team to lose?
Who's gonna be the first team? And I was going back. What was I about to say? I was going back, and I think there's 1 year that only Sheffield won only 1 match, and it was against Newcastle. And I was like, dang, they only won 1 match that season. They got like 13 points or something like that. 1 match. I don't know if they win, bro. Scott Larson.
It's a problem. I mean, it's really sad, man. And y'all laughing about D2, but not to get back to the head coach who was appointed. Pagu. He selected a player that is in Division 6 of Brazil.
Oh yeah,
which is
I heard about this.
Super. Yeah. Like this. Like, how do you not, bro? I don't know, man. But yeah, I think Wolves, like, they can I don't know. Like you never know. Like a game where it's like no, and like they get a penalty, they score, and like that's it. Maybe like that's the only way I see them winning a game right
Who's
now.
gonna score the pen for them? I don't trust them. Man. I don't trust that team for anything.
Yeah, I don't know who's.
This might be the first winless Premier League team.
Strand Larson,
Yeah,
Wang. One of those.
It's losing bad.
But yeah, what Kanye say? I'm gonna fix Wolves.
Yeah, they do this right now. For sure.
They gonna need more than they gonna need a lot right now.
Yeah.
Go ahead and mute you. But yeah, man, this was good episode. Definitely a great episode, especially as we get into AFCON, there will be a lot to come from that tournament. Like I said, the tournament does start on the 21st of December, a week from today. So it'll be fun to watch. I believe all of the matches will be streaming on Fubo. So if you do not have Fubo, they will be streaming there for free. You'll be able to sign up for that and be able to watch the matches there. As far as shoutouts, or before we get to shoutouts, Gabriel, how do we do on our locks?
We didn't do that well. 1-3. My lock was one lock that actually hit this week. So yeah, no, wasn't the greatest week. I needed to get back in a winning mode. So I wish I would have done it with the guys. We would have gone 4-0, but it's all good. We're still positive on the year. I mean, I think we all have a minimum of 9 wins right now. Throughout the match week. So yeah, no, we're in the green. You're still in the green with us. When if it ever gets lopsided, then you can complain, but you're still in the green. So we'll come back stronger next week, and we have some more favorable matches next week too. So
that's good to hear. Salam, I know we didn't talk about your United because you have yet to play this week. So before we go into our predictions, kind of just want to get your take on how you expect tomorrow's match to go when you guys play Bournemouth at home.
I mean, yeah, man, tomorrow's game is going to be tough. I'm not going to lie. It's a good opportunity for us to get 3 points and kind of keep us afloat in the mix of finishing in one of those European spots. But more or less, I mean, I expect the same guys to start that have been starting. I mean, we gotta hope for a good game. That's just, I mean, I don't know. We're not gonna play good football. Like, I've kind of accepted that. It's just more of, can we capitalize off of moments? And in the press conference, he's already been talking about how Kobe Maynard's in competition with Bruno Fernandes. He doubled down on that statement as well too. So like I said, man, I mean, after tomorrow, Mbuemo's gone, Mazraoui's gone, Ahmad's gone. So tomorrow, and for me, tomorrow's a big game. We have to get these 3 points because when these 3 guys leave, I think we're really gonna struggle. And it's crazy to say that because we only play 1 game a week, but I think that's just where we're at with the team and the coach.
Like to hear it. We'll be looking forward to hopefully United getting 3 points this weekend.
It's going to be a circus. It's going to be a circus tomorrow. You already know.
Hey,
both
man.
teams to score for sure. Because they're going to get.
That's a fact. That's a fact. All right, predictions for everyone else. Gabriel, who do y'all see this upcoming week?
We see Everton away from home. I think I think all of our matches are super important, but I think this is important because if we're able to get in a good groove during this match and put in a solid performance, we have right after that, we have 3 home matches to end out the year. One is in the Carabao Cup against Crystal Palace, but then I think we see Aston Villa one more time before the year ends and someone else. So I think, get a away win and then we're at home for, the next 3 matches, which is super important for us. So Everton 2-0, 3-0, they won't have some of their best players, as we just said. They leave for AFCON tomorrow, so really no excuse on us going there and getting a result. And this is another match in which, yes, Everton has been doing better than last year, but we should dominate them. We should be more aggressive to them. I think it's another match just to put a little bit more offensive attacking power out there than we did this past match. So I think we have a 3 points in our future.
Heard that. We see Chelsea sees Newcastle. Who's coming off a 1-0 loss to Sunderland this week, actually. Again, with Chelsea, you can have all the ideas in the world that you're going to win the match, but it really depends on how we're set up. So I really expect to beat, a Newcastle team that's been up and down, but I really, really want to see what this lineup looks like. If it were up to me, we would see the same 11 that we saw this past week starting. I thought that was the best 11 that we have as far as the starters, with everybody that's healthy right now. So I would love to see Maresca kind of just keep everything the same. As they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Fair.
Seems like Papy's having some technical difficulties. So I wanted to ask him about, Liverpool versus Tottenham. But
I was gonna say we play Aston Villa on the Sunday.
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll come back around to you. Aston Villa on Sunday. Who do you got in that one, Salam? That's a big match.
That's a big match. Aston Villa, they look good too.
I'll tell you.
They were someone's recap not too long ago. I forgot who, but I saw the recap. You're right. It was yours, Gabriel. Because I saw that recap and then I looked at their last 5 games and it was all green, all wins. I was like, oh, man. And they started the season pretty slow as well too. So this will be a tough game away from home, but I don't know. I feel like we're always up for these games. All the games that you would think that United's going to get smacked. We always seem to find a way to be up for it, but I'm gonna go for a draw. This is a good Aston Villa team, so I think we'll get a draw.
Yeah, Aston Villa has a tough schedule coming up as well, so interesting to see how they do. 3 points off the top.
Damn, they're third. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say they're the most informed team in the league right now. I would say City would probably be second behind them. Seems like Papy, seems like we got you. Just as we had our predictions, Liverpool plays Tottenham. What do you expect in that game?
Draw.
Really?
Yeah, 2-2. I think Tottenham needs a win right now, and Liverpool is still figuring out. I think it would have been best if we played, a less solid team. But given how the situation is, although Tottenham does lose some key players to the AFCON, so maybe Liverpool figures it out and wins. But I'd say it's a draw, maybe 2-2.
Respect. Very honest answer. Before we get out of here, any shout outs? I can actually start because I wanted to talk about this one. It's big. This is a player that we've talked about on here multiple times, but history has been made in the NWSL. Malawi's Temwa Chawinga becomes the only player to win the MVP back-to-back, and she won her second one this year. So just wanted to shout out Temwa. We've talked about her multiple times on this podcast. What she's been able to do just in the last few years in the NWSL have been nothing short of amazing, breaking records, it seems like every other week. But yeah, shout out Temwa. Also her sister, for some of you who do not know, her sister plays in the French league for Lyon. So
Tabitha.
Yeah, Tabitha, another baller. So just
dog too.
She a hooper, bro. She's very, very good. So yeah, just shout out to both of them for the amazing years that they've been having.
I shall actually go to Emil Smith Rowe. Quietly catching form over there in Fulham and helping his team get some results. 2 goals over his last 3 matches in the league. So that's older Arsenal academy player and first team player, but him and Iwobi seem to be finding some good form over the past few matches. So just want to give him a quick little shout out.
Oh, that's good. I actually got 2. My first one's going to go to Rodrigo. 2 goals this week. Had a good game versus Man City midweek in the Champions League against Man City, and then he scored over the weekend as well too in their win. So shout out to him. He hasn't been playing much. I know it hasn't really been the most ideal situation since Xabi Alonso has came in, but stay ready so you don't have to get ready. 2 goals on the week, so shout out to him. And then my second one's going to go to Darlington Nagbe. He's a part of Ohio Premier Soccer Club now here in Ohio. It's one of the more competitive teams here in Ohio in terms of like the youth landscape. So for him to go back and to give his experience and knowledge to the next generation is going to be huge. So only strengthening the Ohio pipeline of soccer players we have here. So shout out to him.
Yeah, that's massive for him. I heard he has kids in the program as well, so it's nice to see that he'll be, able to spend a little bit more time with his kids in his retirement, which sounds crazy.
Oh yeah, I mean he's gonna definitely have plenty of time. I've been there. That club grind is different. So practice 3 days a week and then you travel with him. So like, yeah, man, that's huge. That's good for him. Papy, you have anything? Sorry, go ahead, bro.
I didn't really prepare for this, but I'd say a shout out to Iliman Ndiaye, Everton. I think he's slowly establishing himself as one of the best African players out there right now. Honestly, I would say right now, currently, he's the best Senegal has to offer. Great dribbler, great player. I would also say that he's arguably one of our most skilled players, like that I've ever seen, and that's saying a lot. But his skills are just, remarkable, and he hasn't had the chance to play for solid team in his career. I mean, he played for Marseille for a while, but he played for Everton, and I think this year he's establishing himself, and with the AFCON coming up, I think he's gonna do some big things. And after the AFCON, I think he's gonna go to a really big team. Other shout out Danny Welbeck, man. He's scoring goals. He's got 7 goals this season. It's not that much, but it's just a joy for me to see him still score some goals at the highest level. Given how his career has had some up and downs, and those are my 2 shout outs.
I like those. It's interesting to hear you say Ndiaye is the most skilled Senegalese player. That's high praise.
Skillet, man. Yeah, no, he is, bro. He's a different level of tech, bro. Different level.
Very technical player. It's impressive. Yeah.
Once Mane hangs it up and passes the torch, that's your guys's. He's the man. Yeah, he's
and I believe Mane hangs it up after the World Cup 2026. I believe he hangs it up after that. But right now he's definitely the best we've got.
He's definitely going to be on another team next season.
I hope so, man. I hope one of these big teams, gets him, man. I feel like he can only do so much with a decent or subpar team, but if he plays for a big high quality team, I think he would show much more of what he's capable of.
Agreed. All right, good episode, guys. Papy, thanks for coming on again, bro. We appreciate you. Yes, sir. Definitely going to be a fun AFCON tournament. When's the first game? First game kickoff?
I think Saturday.
Saturday.
I think
Okay.
so. Yeah, I believe so. I believe Morocco plays Zambia on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. I'll check, but yeah, I think it's Saturday.
Sounds good.
So the first game is Sunday, December 21st,
Oh,
and
Sunday,
it'll
okay.
be Morocco versus Cameroon at 2 p.m.
Oh.
Eastern Standard Time here in the U.S. So really, that'll be what, like 7 o'clock your time, Papy? 8 o'clock maybe?
Yeah. Lights out.
Yeah. Cranked up.
Yeah,
Okay.
my dog.
But yeah,
Okay,
first match.
You said Morocco versus Cameroon?
Comoros. Sorry, that might have been a
Oh.
slip. Comoros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an easy win for them.
Yeah, you know.
That's light work for them.
All right. Good episode, guys. Appreciate everybody for tuning in and your guys' continued support. And Papy, thank you once again. Thanks for pulling up to the kickback.